What is everybody doing tonight? I figured I'd show off what I found today. Almost didn't notice it. But it's a 2003 proof. Well, glad these keep them from getting too dinged up when you have trouble holding on to them. I gotta get me a periscope or something for this here phone so I can keep an eye on it, cause I got my glasses on and can't tell if that screen's focused. I'm just falling apart, y'all. There we go. It's fairly pretty. Found that when it worked today. Aside from that, it was fairly slow. I looked through a ton of 2020s. Grabbed me a roll of 2020 nickels to dig at, see if I might find a W. Somebody said they was out there. My luck, I'll go through a whole box of them and then they'll be like, oh no, they was only in proof sets. But, sitting here looking through my list tonight, and kind of debating on which one I want to go with. I'll be honest with y'all. My stories that I have told and gathered over my lifetime, they've really just been something to get a laugh out of somebody. They've never really been something with any purpose. And naming each one of these experiences and actually putting that name down on paper gives these experiences a purpose. And I know I'm sharing with y'all, but emotionally I'm not real sure how to take that. I've been carrying on like this forever. And to me it's just a little odd. I figured on this one we'll kind of go with with sort of a serious note. One of the duties that I tend to every day, unless one of the other managers want to take over doing it, but I have to count cigarettes every day. And in my store we keep normally around anywhere from 8 to 13,000 packs of cigarettes. And on this particular day, I have to make a phone call that, as with anything else, I always have to try to look at the bright side. I have to try to make stuff funny. And it's not just for y'all. It's because I need that. I need for everything to be upbeat. If it's not, then my weird little mind likes to wander off into dark places, and I don't like that. So with everything that I come across, every experience that I have, I always try to find an upbeat side with everything. Well, the phone call that I have to make is to my district manager this day. And the phone call goes as such. Hello? Hey Megan. You know them little yellow vests that we're supposed to have on when we go out in the parking lot so that we don't get hit by cars? She said yes. Please do not tell me that you got hit by a car. I said, well, to be honest, I didn't think I was going to need it running a register. Because August 5th of 2018, while I'm counting cigarettes, I thought a bomb had gone off. Our windows are around an inch thick. I mean, made to withstand quite a bit. And when one of these windows breaks, I'm not joking. My first reaction was I turned around and looked out into the horizon expecting to see a mushroom cloud. These windows explode. And I got hit by a 2018 Chevy Cruze. The man driving the car was about 75 years old. Said the throttle stuck. And on the video of the store, which, well, I'll be honest with you, I'm still rather uneducated on video editing or any of that, so I'm not sure as to how to share that with this. Plus, oh boy, the going and finding it. But if we have these huge rubber mats on the floor. I call them drunk mats because they got wrinkles in them every once in a while, and as you're trying to walk across them, you'll hit one of these wrinkles if you don't raise your feet up high enough, and you stumble around like you've been drinking too much at work. So I call them drunk mats. But the drunk mats are usually the entire area behind the registers. And when he came through the window of the store, he drove directly into the register area. And now, not only do I get hit by the car, but I get hit by the window frame, the bolts that were in the window frame. Got two, nasty scars on my back from those. Split the palm of my left hand open. Had to have stitches for that. We're going to add that in here too now that I think of it. Had to give me a drink. But after I drove through the front of the store, when I went to get to my feet, I still had not gotten my full faculties as to what had happened. When I turned to look out over the horizon expecting to see a cloud, I'm like, why is there a car sitting here? Well, there was a small shipping tote that was up against the wall that he had just driven through. And that shipping tote took my feet out from under me as I hit the car, as the car hit me, and was still there between the bumper and me as the elderly man panicked and hit the gas again. And the drunk mat starts dragging me towards the car. Now, if it had not been for the tote to stop me from going up under the car, it'd have probably been a pretty rough day for me. So, at this point, Big is not happy at all. I'm bleeding from my left knee. I'm bleeding from my left hand. Um, I'm spitting glass out. And as the elderly man, he realizes he's still in drive. So he puts the car in reverse and goes to back out of the building. And there's a friend of mine that is standing at the front door as I get back to my feet for the second time. Because when he hit the gas, it jerked the rug out. I hit the ground and it jerked my feet out from under me. So a buddy of mine is standing at the door. And I just pointed the car. And like I said, I'm far from a little guy. And just went, "Bring him to me." Well, the guy gets out of the car thinking he has done run somebody over, which he almost did. 72 years old. He's already distraught enough. And when he gets on the phone with his insurance company, and they start telling him that this little ordeal, the store loan's going to soak up the $15,000 worth of insurance he's got, my medical bills are more than likely going to eat him alive. And I thought we're going to have to call an ambulance for him. Well, after it was all said and done, I had to have 3 stitches in the palm of one hand. I've done worse than that to myself on a skateboard. Hell, in a 68 Ford Falcon, I did a lot worse to myself than that. So I stayed there. This happened at 5:30 in the afternoon, on the dot. I did not leave the store until 11:30 after the store had been closed up. I bandaged myself up and everything. Went and got something to eat. Went over to the hospital. And when I get over to the hospital, the doctor comes in, looks at it, and says, "Well, when did this happen?" And I tell her, "Oh, it's been a couple of hours. I had to make sure that this got closed up." And so the doctor goes to, gnawing at my rear end, we'll say. So she goes, I have to sit there with my hand under a faucet for about 5 minutes, just letting it run through to make sure it's got everything cleaned out of it. She comes back in there and she has this humongous needle on a syringe and this little bitty suture kit. So I sit down on the gurney and I lay my hand out. And I'm split from about right here to about right here. And it's good and deep. I'm not sure what hit me, but it got me good. And she takes this big needle out, and just as she gets close enough that I see her getting in there and she goes to touch a piece of meat, I feel that and I go. And she said, "Now you have to hold still." And I said, "Oh, I'm well aware of that. But it's not me that's trying to get away from you. But I will tell you this. How about, since the needle you're wanting to stitch me with is only about 1/5 of the size of the one you're wanting to numb me with, can we just skip the numbing part?" She said, "Are you sure?" I'm like, "Oh yeah. I mean, you finna stick me about 12 times. The first 6 are just to make the last 6 less painful. And they're going to hurt worse regardless. How about we just skip them first 6 and go to stitching?" So I reached down between my legs, sit down on the gurney and laid my hand out in front of her just like I am here. And reached underneath of me and grabbed the brace that run across for the mattress and pulled myself down to it. and let her go to stitching. There's a couple of funny parts in that one. I used to say, if this is as bad as it is, but I don't say it too much no more, because if this is as bad as it gets, was what came out of my mouth about 2 minutes before that car came through the front of the store. Just another one I'm going to mark off this list. And every day I sit down with my wife and we get to talking about stuff that I've talked over the years over, and I get to add more and more. I just like sharing with y'all. And y'all behave.